2026. Participants
years who was returning money meant for what? For development, for projects, for infrastructure. Nobody came out to say, oh, he should go, or he doesn't know how to talk, or he doesn't know how to, he insults. Well, for people who are saying that Mr. Infrastructure, Mr. Project doesn't know how to talk, and he is insulting, he should come so that we teach them how to talk, so that when he talks, they can talk back. Amen? Now, I live in the suburbs, very far. In those days, it used to take me almost 1.5 hours to drive to Nyanya bus stop. But now it's less than 15 minutes, and within 30 minutes, I'm in town. If people are unhappy that this is happening to the real Nigerians, then it's rather unfortunate. It is in this same FCT that we had a minister who was here. We didn't even know his direction. We didn't know where he was coming from, where he was staying at, and where he was going to. For 8 years, nobody said he should go. So, according to Mr. President, my own president, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he said the reason why they don't like Nyesom Wike, His Excellency, is because Nigerians lack the ability and the capability to comply.
The group accused critics of the minister, including striking workers, of attempting to derail progress in the Federal Capital Territory. According to the coalition, genuine FCT indigenes and residents are benefiting from ongoing infrastructure projects and have no reason to oppose the current administration.
Almost 2 years, it is very, very clear that the project of Barrister Nyesom Wike is very, very visible to even the blind. Everybody can see. Check out. Abuja is smelling well, yes, because Wike is working. Yes, Sowore has a brainless challenge. Yes, that is why he's attacking Wike. Yes, if Sowore can see what Wike has done in Abuja, he will give you support. Amen. Am I talking to someone here? Yes. We are here, yes, not because we are bribed or we are being paid. We are here on our own personal valuation to give our support to the Honorable Minister. We are saying to him, he should never be distracted. Once you are doing a good job, there will be distraction. But he should be focused and continue with the good work he's doing.
The rally comes just days after the National Industrial Court ordered the suspension of the FCTA workers' strike and directed parties to pursue mediation. While workers have since returned to duty, the public show of support signals growing political mobilization around the minister amid ongoing labor disputes. In Abuja, Chimezi Izadima reporting for Signaturetv.
Still to come, Nigeria and Turkey deepen strategic partnership. House of Reps passes Tinubu's 58.18 trillion naira 2026 budget for second reading. Stay with us.
The way we see the world shapes the way we change it. Gender isn't just a checkbox, it's a lens. One that helps us understand the world more deeply and act more fairly. Gender Perspectives, a program for those ready to see more, do more, and be more. Designed to challenge assumptions, ignite conversations, and build inclusive solutions across every sector of society.
We are not, fighting the men. We are not saying we are equal in terms of rights. We're only asking they should recognize our existence.
Join us on Gender Perspectives, showing every Saturday by 4 p.m. Repeat every Wednesdays by 5 p.m. and Thursdays by 3 p.m. Change begins with perspective. Let's widen yours.
Nigeria and Turkey appear set to deepen their long-standing diplomatic and economic relations following President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's official visit to Turkey. Several bilateral engagements were held during the visit, with key Nigerian ministers highlighting areas of cooperation ranging from solid minerals and science to family and social development. The Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Dele Alake, said Nigeria and Turkey have enjoyed a relationship spanning several years across multiple sectors of the economy. He disclosed that the Turkish government has agreed to dispatch a technical team to Nigeria in the coming weeks to explore concrete areas of collaboration in the solid mineral sector.
In the area of solid minerals, I had a meeting, very useful meeting with the Minister of Energy and Natural Resources of Turkey. And we recall that about several years ago, in 2020, thereabout, 3 MOUs were signed between Turkey and Nigeria on solid minerals exploitation. But unfortunately, those MOUs were not actioned. They were not followed up. And so today, we decided that we had to revive those MOUs, sign new ones, and of course expand the frontiers. For instance, Nigeria has a large mineral endowment, and then we have created a lot of policy reforms to de-risk the environment and of course attract FDIs, foreign direct investment. And Turkey has a lot of mining engineering expertise, a lot of procurement expertise, a lot of construction engineering expertise. And so we want to leverage on all of this with Turkey to come in, make investments in the solid mineral sector of Nigeria, and of course, we're looking towards local value addition, which is core and is central to our own policy in Nigeria on solid minerals. And Turkey has agreed to come in and see areas of further cooperation.
On his part, the Minister of Innovation, Science and Technology, Dr. Kingsley Ude, said discussions focused on how research outcomes can be deployed to address Nigeria's pressing challenges, including security concerns, agricultural productivity, and other socio-economic issues. The minister stressed that while Nigeria places high priority on education and research, there is an urgent need to convert research findings into commercially viable products capable of driving development and solving real-life problems.
Nigeria is high on education and research, but the focus is on transforming research outcomes to commercially viable products to solve our national problems. And Turkey is one nation that has actually become advanced in turning research outcomes to products and marketing this across the world. So part of the agreement we had today is to design an action plan between Nigeria and Turkey to support with taking research outcomes, turning them into commercially viable products in different sectors of our economy as part of the Renewed Hope agenda of bringing Nigerian economy to a $1 trillion benchmark. So this is just part of what we're able to achieve today. A lot will actually come because Turkey is quite enthusiastic about partnering with Nigeria across the sector, especially as it relates to science, technology, and innovation. My counterpart here, incidentally, is industry and innovation that it's called, because Turkey has this seamless connection between their innovation, their research, and their industry. And of course, since I took office as minister, that's been my focus, to ensure that we do not just do research and it follow on research labs in papers, but we transform these things because we have innovators in Nigeria. We have very intelligent people. So it's now to transform these inventions, our intelligence, into products. And we've seen it happen even in a fintech. Now we want to cascade this, scale it up across. And with what we've done today with Turkey, we believe that we would begin to achieve this very noble vision that we have.
The Minister of Women Affairs, Hajia Suleiman Ibrahim, said the visit also produced clear plans aimed at strengthening Nigeria's family and social development agenda. She explained that the social sector is being deliberately placed at the center of national development emphasizing that governance must focus on people and the well-being of families.
The MOE revolves around the family, the children, women's economic empowerment, access to all sorts of, financial and, financial literacy, access to market, and also cultural exchange between the two parties, because we work closely together, know more about each other, so that we can even respect and love each other better. This is one agreement that will not just sit on the table and gather dust. Already the work has been in progress. Already we've written to Mr. President seeking approval so that he can make a few pronouncements. Last year you saw Mr. President approve the universal cash grant transfer to children. It means that, it means a whole big deal for our children in Nigeria. Today we have 50% of our citizens being under the age of 15. So we're not just on the continent of the future, but we're the country of the future because of, the way we are growing. Nigeria, just like Turkey, have our own demographic challenges. Their one is that of underpopulation. Our one is that of an explosion in population. So this particular partnership gives us the advantage to be able to learn best practices, transfer skills when it comes to social development.
The Nigerian delegation expressed optimism that the outcomes of the presidential visit will translate into concrete partnerships, investments, and policy actions that will benefit the country across all critical sectors. The Senate has tentatively fixed March 17, 2026 for the final consideration and passage of the 58.472 trillion naira 2026 appropriation bill. This was made known after a special session of the Senate on Friday, where February 2nd to 13, 2026 was approved for the consideration of budget estimates at the committee level. The committee equally fixed Monday, February 9th, 2026 for a public hearing on the budget proposal. Chairman of the Committee on Appropriations, Solomon Adeola, further disclosed that Thursday, March 5th, 2026 has been scheduled for an interactive session between members of the committee and key government functionaries, including the Ministers of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edu, as well as the Minister of Budget and National Planning, Atiku Bagudu. According to him, February 16 to 23rd, 2026 has been earmarked for the submission of reports on budget defense by various standing committee chairmen ahead of the presentation of the Appropriations Committee's report to the Senate on March 17th. The House of Representatives has approved 2026 appropriation bill of 58.18 trillion naira for second reading, designed to consolidate macroeconomic stability, strengthen national security, and expand capital investment. The approval followed the presentation of the bill's framework by the Leader of the House, Julius Ihombere, during Thursday's plenary. Speaking on the general principles of the budget, Ihombere told the House that the Tinubu administration inherited distorted and disarticulated institutions and cautioned against expecting painless reforms. He cited key macroeconomic indicators to justify support for the budget, including a 3.98% economic growth rate ahead of the 2026 fiscal year, a drop in inflation to 14.45% from about 25%, improved revenues, export growth, and expanded foreign direct investment.
So I invite you, my dear colleagues, to support this budget as presented and to keep hope alive and recommit that we have an opportunity to join the government, we are part of the government, to join the executive in this budget of consolidation renewed resilience, and shared prosperity.
The House considered and adopted several matters of urgent public importance, including the urgent to address the escalating poverty and hunger in Nigeria, with special focus on agricultural recovery in the Northeast, moved by Khadija Bukar.
Of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 99 as amended, to strengthen and harmonize ongoing national poverty reduction, food security, and post-conflict agricultural recovery initiatives with deliberate focus on agrarian communities affected by insecurity.
Another motion on the need to investigate alleged discriminatory practices in the recruitment of resident doctors by the Chief Medical Director of the University of Calabar Teaching Hospital was moved by Igariwe Iduma Enwo from Ebonyi State.
Further compounding the challenges confronting our healthcare system and the efforts of the current administration, being that Nigeria's fragile healthcare system is facing a critical manpower deficit, as the number of licensed doctors has dropped to about 40,000, far below the estimated 300,000 needed to adequately serve Nigeria's healthcare needs. Mr. Speaker, this House frowns at the conduct of this highly placed federal officer that encourages brain drain in the health sector and, more importantly, further fractures the delicate ethnic fault lines of our union, leading to divisiveness, insecurity, and instability.
Earlier, the House held a valedictory session in honor of Dr. Danzaria Yahaya, the clerk of the House, who is retiring after years of active service. The Speaker, Tajuddin Abbas, thanked the clerk for his professionalism, integrity, and commitment to legislative service.
The office of the clerk stands at the heart of this responsibility. It provides continuity beyond electoral cycles, safeguards the legitimacy of parliamentary decisions, and ensures that debate, disagreement, and consensus all occur within lawful bounds.
During the session, lawmakers across party lines paid glowing tribute to Dr. Yahaya, describing him as a humble, dedicated, and result-oriented public servant who consistently attended to both official duties and personal concerns with diligence. The House later adjourned plenary to Tuesday, 17th February 2026, following a motion moved by the House Leader, Honorable Julius Ihombere. The Federal High Court in Ibadan on Friday nullified the People's Democratic Party National Convention held on November 15, 2025 in Ibadan, Oyo State. The presiding judge, Justice Uche Agomo, also barred a senior advocate of Nigeria, Taminu Turaki, and others who emerged as National Working Committee members from parading themselves as national officers of the PDP. Justice Agomo held that the convention was conducted in flagrant disobedience to two subsisting judgments of the same court, adding that returning to seek judicial approval for actions taken in defiance of court orders was an exercise in futility. The court ruled that the caretaker committee, led by Abdurrahman and Senator Samuel Anyanwu, is the only recognized NWC of the PDP, pending the conduct of a valid national convention. The Kabiru Turaki faction of the PDP had filed a suit seeking recognition of the convention held in Ibadan, Oyo State, on November 15, 2025. and validation of the NWC that emerged at the convention. The judgment follows a protracted crisis within the PDP, which held a contentious national elective convention in Ibadan in November 2025, despite existing court orders. Troops of 82 Division Nigerian Army, JTF Southeast Operation Udoka, have rescued Reverend Johnson ENUGU, a Christian clergy that was recently abducted by gunmen in ENUGU State. The development, according to a security source who spoke to NAN on Friday, followed a swift intelligence-led operation. The source said the victim, who was abducted from his residence in Ezimo community, Udenu local government area, was rescued unharmed later the same day. The troops worked in collaboration with operatives of other security agencies, including officers of the Nigerian police. During the ensuing encounter, one of the kidnappers was neutralized, while others fled the scene. No casualty was recorded on the side of the troops. Items recovered from the criminals include one AK-47 rifle, 2 magazines, and ammunition. Next is business news.
The Kwara State House of Assembly has passed the 2026 Appropriation Bill into law, approving a total budget size of 656.5 billion naira, representing an increase of 10.5 billion naira over the initial proposal submitted by Governor Abdurrahman Abdulrazak. The budget was passed on Friday after the House considered and adopted the report of its Committee on Finance and Appropriation during plenary, announcing the passage. The Speaker of the House, Right Honorable Yakubu Salihu, said the upward review followed a thorough scrutiny of the estimates to ensure fiscal realism and effective implementation in the interest of the Kwarans. The policy group, the Independent Media and Policy Initiative, has projected that Nigerians' gross domestic product would reach 5.5% in 2026, driven by what it described as the new economic model deployed by President Bola Tinubu. This was disclosed in a policy statement signed by its chairman, Dr. Omoniyi Akinsiju, maintaining that its 5.5% GDP growth projection would trump that of the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund. IMF forecast a 4.4% growth for Nigeria in 2026 on stabilizing macroeconomic trends. The governor of Abia State, Alex Oti, has said that the state is no longer experiencing power failure caused by frequent collapse of the national grid system, as his administration is now investing in converting organic waste products into electricity. Oti disclosed this while addressing the media at the state government house on Thursday. According to him, waste products are now being converted from biogas into renewable energy for Abians, adding that the state is no longer under the control of the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, NERC. The national grid system has recorded its second collapse in 2026, causing widespread power outage across the country. Nigerians' mobile phone operators plan to step up spending on the network infrastructure this year, promising to invest more than the over $1 billion, that is 1.4 trillion naira plunk into the sector in 2025, the Nigerian Communications Commission has said. The commitment comes after a year of heavy capital expenditure last year, when telecoms rolled out more than 2,850 new network sites. The expansion extended coverage across cities, rural areas, and major transport corridors, while also supporting the gradual spread of 5G services. The executive vice chairman of the NCC, Dr. Aminu Mewada, said The improvement captured in the regulator's latest network performance report released this week were largely driven by last year's spending. This is business news in global news. Nasiru Usman, reporting for Signature TV News.
Up next is entertainment news with Queeneth Wokunta.
Popular Nigerian singer Iyanya has opened up about his constant struggle with staying celibate, revealing that his endurance often breaks whenever he meets attractive women. In a candid conversation on the Afropolitan podcast, the Your Waist Crooner explained that he often ends up with regrets whenever he broke his celibacy, but struggles to stay consistent. The 39-year-old singer said he is not considering marriage now because he believes he is not yet mentally ready. Televangelist and founder of Mountain of Liberation and Miracles Ministry, Dr. Chris Okafor, has raised concerns over what he described as cyberbullying and called for stronger regulation of Nigeria's digital space. Speaking at the press briefing in Lagos, Okafor expressed frustration over the activities of bloggers and social media influencers, accusing some of them of spreading unverified information and damaging reputations. In November 2025, Nollywood actress Doris Ogala alleged that Okafor had been involved in a long-standing relationship with her and had failed to fulfill a promise to marry her. Ogala further accused the cleric of killing her brother and burying the head of an unidentified murdered person at the altar of the church in the Ojodu area of Lagos State. Reacting to the controversy, Okafor said that the most painful part of the situation was how bloggers and influencers allegedly attacked him based on accusations without giving him the opportunity to respond. The pastor stressed the need for the National Assembly to introduce laws that would regulate online activities and ensure that offenders are punished to serve as a warning to others. Two-time Grammy nominee Sarah Ayin-Kansola Aderibibi, otherwise known as Ira Star, has revealed her desire to collaborate with Burna Boy, naming the Afrobeat star as her top choice. She disclosed this while speaking with Love Island USA star Chelly Bisianthi about her 2026 Grammy nominations. Ira Star earned a Grammy nomination for Best African Music Performance for her collaboration with Wizkid, Gimme That, released on April 25, 2025. The nominations were announced in November 2025 ahead of the Grammy Awards ceremony scheduled for February 1st, 2026. Reacting to the recognition, the singer disclosed the nomination as a moment of reassurance in her career. Speaking on the inspiration behind Gimme That, which samples 911 by Wyclef Jean and Mary J. Blige, the singer said she only discovered the origin of the sample during the recording process. Alexa Perry, the ex-wife of Nigerian singer Harry Song, has announced her decision to temporarily give up custody of their two children, aged 4 and 3. In an emotional video shared on her Instagram story, Alexa described the move as the hardest decision of her life, citing years of pressure following her separation from the singer. She added that she had been solely responsible for the children since the separation with her husband, noting that they attend school from her home and only visit their father occasionally. Alexa accused her ex-husband of constant harassment and interference, alleging that he frequently showed up at her home unannounced. She also raised concerns about the children living with domestic staff, alleging that their father is rarely around. Alexa claimed that she lived in Asaba but moved to Lagos following threats by the singer to make life difficult for her there. Harrison publicly admitted to having marital struggles in January 2024 and requested that the public respect his family's privacy during the challenging time. Days later, Alexa shared a cryptic post on Instagram stating that she was officially done. The duo got married in March 2021 and have 2 children together. Nigerian Afrobeat star Davido made a high-profile appearance in the lead-up to the Grammys, attending the Billboard Power 100 party, where top music executives, including Lucian Grange, were honored. The singer later delivered an intimate set at Grammy House, performing fans' favorites such as Feels, Unavailable, and his Grammy-nominated track, With You, featuring Omah Lay. Davido is nominated for Best African Music Performance, competing against Burna Boy, Ira Star, Tyler, and Eddie Kenzo. Back in Nigeria, excitement continues to build ahead of the ceremony. Comedian Kata Efe failed the buzz with a viral skit, humorously betting everything on Davido's win, while fans across social media have rallied behind the singer, hailing him as the GOAT. The award ceremony is set to take place in February at the Crypto.com Arena, with Trevor Noah returning as host. And that's the entertainment news. Queeneth Nwokonta's Signature TV News.
That's the news this hour. I am Uchenna Chimdi Oluoha. Thanks for watching.
Every second, every minute, every day, news is breaking. Events occur and there are new developments. At Signature TV, we follow these stories objectively, bringing all sides without bias, explaining the complex issues, breaking down the numbers, and investigating the issues behind the news. Anywhere and everywhere, near or far, wherever the news is, we will be there. Signature TV. News in your pocket.
New every morning on Signature TV, we open the day for you with needed energy, information, and required vibes to shape your day. From sizzling snippets of stories in various areas of life to intriguing conversations with net worth guests.
When you have people who have no track record becoming your leaders, you have a problem. There's no outstanding graduate when Obi took over from me. I left in all the accounts of Anambra State 13.8 billion for him.
Your day cannot be complete without Signature Morning on weekdays and Signature New Day on weekends. There is no better way to start your day except Signature Morning and Signature New Day every day on Signature TV.
We come from a place of values, a place where hard work and discipline is taught early. We were taught that excellence is intentional so that we stand firm, build and do our work well, rooted in the knowledge of our origins and the strength of our people. Our stories are shaped by resilience, our paths are built on consistency. From the hands that create with precision, skills live here, creativity thrives here, excellence is practiced here, where every detail matters. We tell our stories with clarity and share our truths with confidence. We build influence with intention, our voices reflect who we are and carry our identity. We build a strong foundation in the dignity of honest work, pride in showing up every day, strength in consistency, respect for the process, and strong value in our efforts. This is who we are. Rooted in service to humanity, guided by compassion, driven by responsibility beyond self, committed to life, and purposeful in every action we take. It is not just a conversation, it is representation, it is preparation, it is intention made visible. And it is history taking shape from the dream team. We can do it.
February 14th, 2026.
International Conference Center, ICC.
This is bigger than one person. This is about all of us. You are invited.
Signature TV, news in your pocket.
Hello Nigeria, good evening and welcome to Signature Evening. This is really exciting. Today is the 30th day in the month of January and somehow it seems the month has come to an end, even if we have tomorrow to look out for. I want to believe this is one of the fastest January in years, and I believe Oma agrees with me.
No, I do not. A couple of days ago you said the January was slow.
I never said. No. I have never said January. This January.
Yes, you
this
said
year,
it was
2026 January.
Yes.
No,
Yes.
I've always said it's fast.
Anyway.
Okay. All right. Tonight on People's Forum, we shall be looking at the topic: is it right to accept gifts from someone you know you won't marry? And this question goes either way. As a man, you know, a lady that is well-to-do has been okay. Let me calm down, okay? And of course, you can save the number 0814-8986-005, 0814-8986-005. That is the number to call on People's Forum where we get there, all right? And of course, I hand over now to Oma, to follow up on the next segment. But before I do that, my name is Christopher Lele. Welcome to Signature Evening.
Princess Kedachama, good evening and thanks for joining us. Like Lele had already said, our topic for People's Forum today. It seems like this week we've been doing marriage, family,
Yeah.
relationship related topics. But then again, I mean, if you have something to talk about, you talk about it. Now, starting off with our news segment, and the news segment for the evening, we have our interviews, our entertainment and sports package, our story on fashion, and then we get to what's trending and people's forum. And yes, in this program tonight, we shall be bringing to you an ENUGU State documentary. You get to see the beauty of ENUGU, get to see the beauty of and the works of the ENUGU State government. Now, in our headlines for tonight are sachet alcoholic ban, NAFDAC ignores outcry, resumes enforcement nationwide. ENUGU government bans notorious Obone Chago, cuts land charges by over 60%. Nigerian ministers outline benefits of President Tinubu's state visit to Turkey. Pro-Wike coalition rallies in Abuja amid FCTA workers' strike fallout. In the news segment, coming up next.
The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, has resumed enforcement of the ban on the production and sale of alcoholic beverages packaged in sachets and small plastic or glass bottles below 200 millimeters, despite objections from industry stakeholders. NAFDAC clarified that a non-alcoholic producing company was shut down, stressing that the enforcement targets only the sale of alcohol in sachets and small containers, which it says pose serious public health risks. In a statement issued on Thursday, the Director General of NAFDAC, Professor Mojisola Adeyeye, said the action was aimed at protecting children, adolescents, and young adults from the harmful use of alcohol. Adeyeye disclosed that reports from schools had revealed alarming trends, including a recent incident in which a teacher reported that a student claimed he could not sit for an examination without first consuming sachet alcohol. She recalled that in December 2018, NAFDAC, in collaboration with the Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare and the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, signed a 5-year memorandum of understanding with manufacturers to phase out sachet and small volume alcohol packaging by January 31st, 2024. According to her, the stoppage of this stuff was later extended to December 2025 to allow manufacturers to exhaust existing stock and adjust their production lines. She emphasized that the enforcement was not intended to punish manufacturers, but to safeguard public health. However, manufacturers and other stakeholders in the sector have continued to oppose the ban and its enforcement, citing concerns over its economic impact. The ENUGU state government announced the reduction of land-related charges by more than 60% and the outright ban of the controversial Ogbonichiago levy. These are part of the sweeping reforms in land administration in the state aimed at eliminating multiple taxation, curbing illegal revenue practices, and making ENUGU a more attractive destination for investors and homeowners. The reforms were announced at a town hall meeting on land development administration held at the International Conference Center, ENUGU. Correspondent Chinemerem Ikebonam was at the event.
The stakeholders town hall meeting brought together government officials, traditional rulers, landowners, surveyors, town planners, estate developers, property agents, professionals, religious leaders, and civil society groups to deliberate on the ongoing land reforms aimed at addressing multiple taxation, land grabbing, and inefficiencies in the land ecosystem. Governor Pitamba, represented by the Secretary to the State Government, Professor Chidebere Onya, noted that effective land governance goes beyond regulations and requires continuous stakeholders' engagement. Onya explained that under the new policy framework, ground rent, land use charge, and all property-related fees have been consolidated into unified land use charge, payable once a year through ENUGU State Internal Revenue Service, EIRS. The policy, he said, applies uniformly to properties located both within and outside housing estates across the states, emphasizing the administration's drive to fully digitalize the land ecosystem to reduce bottlenecks, improve efficiencies, and attract investment.
Unrelated or unregulated layouts, conflicting claims, and informal transactions undermine planning, fuels disputes, and discourages investment. This administration is therefore committed to enforce development control standards and strengthen institutional coordinations. It is on this note that I want to remind everyone today that the original concept of Omonechiago groups that would in the past move around local governments collecting revenues from individual investors and people no longer exists in Enugu State.
Addressing concerns over land grabbing, popularly known as Omonechiago, Professor Onya assures stakeholders that structures are being put in place to curb the menace, noting that traditional rulers remain key partners in the process. In his remark, the Commissioner for Land and Urban Development, Chimaobi Okorie, said Governor Mba has introduced critical policy directions and legal instruments, including an executive order declaring 9 of the 17 local government areas as urban areas to enable planning and structured infrastructural development. The commissioner added that the applicants seeking certification of occupancy C of O can now apply online or walk into designated government offices for seamless processing.
His Excellency signed into existence the executive order declaring new urban areas in the state. His Excellency, in support of his agenda to make Enugu the destination of choice for investments, for living, for tourism, and for visits, identified the strategic need to unlock land assets, both for Enugu and for our investors, for the investor community, if you like.
Providing an update on harmonization, the Managing Director of the ENUGU Geographic Information Service, NGIS, Dr. Chinwetelo Nwatu, stated that building approval processes have been streamlined and domiciled under the ENUGU Capital Territory Development Authority to ensure efficiency and uniformed standards.
Everything relating to land administration in the state is put under one roof. Clarity for everybody who's here, both those in government and those who are the people living in the states. So the idea clearly is to ensure that as at the time we all step out of here, we speak with one voice, having an understanding of the direction of the state government on issues relating to land.
The chairman of the ENUGU State Internal Revenue Service, Emmanuel Ekenen Namani, urged residents and businesses to obtain a tax identification number in line with the new federal tax law. He said the town hall meeting reflects the governor's resolve to reduce multiple taxation, resolve pricing conflicts, and make tax compliance simpler and more transparent.
The only thing government expects us to do is to have our tax ID. That tax ID is free of charge. In fact, every other person here has his own tax ID. What we need to do is to guide you on how you can generate it. So far you have your NIN, National Identification Number, you already have your tax ID.
Participants at the meeting raised questions and concerns which were addressed by the Secretary to the state government.
My borders on your revenue and how you collect them. You see, there are a lot of multiple taxation going on. You may not know. I was private to be in the village recently. An auntie of mine told me that they locked up their shops, and these people come from government every now and then to lock up their shops.
Some of us women, we have our houses that our husbands left for us, or we bought. But once you buy cement and sand, You just see Obone Echago, you must pay, or you leave the work.
About the Obone Echago, it fell directly on the portfolios of the DGs. My questions are, what are then left for the community in any land acquired in their place if the Obone Echago cannot do anything?
With the new land policies and harmonization measures, the Enugu state government says it is positioning the state as a more transparent, efficient, and investment-friendly destination. In Enugu, Chinemerem Ikebunam, Signature TV News.
Ministers who accompanied President Bola Tinubu on a state visit to Turkey have been speaking on what the country stands to gain from the various bilateral agreements signed by both countries. The Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, said that the visit is very critical for the economic relationship between Nigeria and Turkey. He described the bilateral talks as quite engaging, robust, and comprehensive.
And here we looked at the fact that trade between Turkey and Nigeria, about $1 billion now, and there was a marker laid down. Both presidents said their commitment is to reach trade volume of $5 billion, as well as to engage in investments in each economy so that Nigerian investments in Turkey, as well as Turkey investments in Nigeria. And to that end, real commitment was made to putting in place the framework, the agreements, investment promotion and protection, double taxation treaty, as well as a JETCO, a joint economic trade committee that will work specifically to build up trade. And of course, we must remember that in this day and age of bilateralism, you do and aggregation, we do need new trading partners, new markets, new opportunities, and of course new investments. And that, I think, at the end of the day, is what both presidents and both administrations committed to: more trade and investment between them, and they are both key players in the global south.
The Minister of Defense, retired General Chris Musa, said that Nigeria has a lot to learn from Turkey in addressing the issue of insecurity. This, he said, involves training, equipment production, and exchange of officers and troops, as well as joint training.
I want to see those low-hanging fruits that will be able to take up as quickly as possible. Both presidents have agreed that it is important that we hasten what we're doing together and make it work. And so we, on our own part, we're taking up from there. The signing of the agreements has made it very, very clear that time shouldn't be wasted. We need to move on, and that's what we want to do. More efforts, because, like I said, because we're not producing most of the equipment we needed, had been a difficult aspect in fighting terrorism. Now we're going to get a lot of this equipment from here. Eventually, again, they're going to come down, establish in Nigeria, we produce together so that we too can build our own capacity. So it's a win-win thing for both countries. It's a win-win thing for Nigerians. So I just want to appeal to Nigerians to remain steadfast. The president is working extremely very hard. That's why he's here, and you can see the people, the pedigree of the executive members that came here to show you the commitment. And as we always said, it's not only the kinetic, the non-kinetic, and that's why we have the Ministry of Women Affairs and other social aspects, because it's a holistic thing in winning the firefight.
And for the Minister of Interior, Dr. Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo, both countries are working from the point of view of mutual trust and confidence, saying the bilateral agreement will bring a new lease of life to both countries.
The military agreement means a lot to us, especially with regards to our military cooperation, security cooperation, and we hope that that will really catalyze the border protection initiative of this administration. Just as you know, the border stretch is over 4,000 kilometers, 4 different countries, terrestrially, and of course we have some challenges within the border space. So we believe that with the agreement today, a lot will be done in that regard. And also, we also spoke about the issue of visa, ease of visa between our two countries. And I think we're making serious progress, and we're almost there on that particular one. And I can tell you that grounds have been shifted, and I think this collaboration will ensure that visa becomes more of a trade facilitation document, you know. So, and I think we're making serious progress on that front.
The visit was part of Nigeria's broader foreign policy drive to reposition the economy and strengthen strategic partnerships. These objectives, according to the ministers, have been met with resounding success. Supporters of the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike have taken to the streets of Abuja in a show of solidarity, distancing themselves from the recent workers' strike and backing the minister's leadership and infrastructure drive. The rally comes amid lingering tensions following the industrial action by FCTA workers and the court order that halted the strike. Correspondent Chimeze Nzedima reports.
A group calling itself the Coalition of FCT Indigenes and Residents Organization organized a rally held near the FCT Secretariat on Thursday, January 28, 2026. Participants marched and chanted slogans praising Minister Nyesom Wike, describing him as Mr. Infrastructure, and commending what they called visible improvements in road construction and urban development across the capital.
This FCT in the Federal Republic of Nigeria, that we had a minister for 8 years who was returning money meant for what? For development, for projects, for infrastructure. Nobody came out to say, oh, he should go, or he doesn't know how to talk, or he doesn't know how to, he insults. Well, for people who are saying that Mr. Infrastructure, Mr. Project, doesn't know how to talk, and he is insulting, he should come so that we teach them how to talk, so that when he talks, they can talk back. Amen? Now, I live in the suburbs, very far. In those days, it used to take me almost 1.5 hours to drive to Nyanya bus stop. But now it's less than 15 minutes, and within 30 minutes, I'm in town. If people are unhappy that this is happening to the real Nigerians, then it's rather unfortunate. It is in this same FCT that we had a minister who was here. We didn't even know his direction. We didn't know where he was coming from, where he was staying at, and where he was going to. For 8 years, nobody said he should go. So, according to Mr. President, my own president, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he said the reason why they don't like Nyesom Wike, His Excellency, is because Nigerians lack the ability and the capability to comply.
The group accused critics of the minister, including striking workers, of attempting to derail progress in the Federal Capital Territory. According to the coalition, genuine FCT indigenes and residents are benefiting from ongoing infrastructure projects and have no reason to oppose the current administration.
Almost 2 years, it is very, very clear that the project of Barrister Nyesom Wike is very, very visible to even the blind. Everybody can see. Check out. Abuja is smelling well, yes, because Wike is working. Yes, Sowore has a brainless challenge. Yes, that is why he's attacking Wike. Yes, if Sowore can see what Wike has done in Abuja, he will give you support. Amen. Am I talking to someone here? Yes. We are here, yes, not because we are bribed or we are being paid. We are here on our own personal valuation to give our support to the Honorable Minister. We are saying to him, he should never be distracted. Once you are doing a good job, there will be distraction. But he should be focused and continue with the good work he's doing.
The rally comes just days after the National Industrial Court ordered the suspension of the FCTA workers' strike and directed parties to pursue mediation. While workers have since returned to duty, the public show of support signals growing political mobilization around the minister amid ongoing labor disputes. In Abuja, Chimeze Nzedima reporting for Signaturetv.
And that's it in the news segment. Coming up shortly is Fashionista. Stay with us.
All right, on today's episode of Fashionista, we are looking at the list of Nigerian fashion social media influencers. But still to come is our conversation on People's Forum. Is it right to accept gifts from someone you know you won't marry? The number to call is 08148986005. Fashionista coming up next. Enjoy. Hello, welcome to Fashionista. Today, we are looking into the world of fashion social media influencers. Nigeria's fashion influencers are setting the pace across digital platforms with bold style and creative flair. This includes street style, fashion couture, and personal designs. This 2025 list features the top 10 out of 20 creators making the biggest impact online, according to Favicon Authority blog. First is Priscilla Ojo. Priscilla Ojo is a vibrant TikTok creator known for her engaging content centered on love, relationships, and lifestyle. With a significant following, she shares humorous and relatable posts, often featuring her friends and personal experiences. Her content includes challenges, wedding themes, and fashion collaborations, showcasing her dynamic personality and creativity. Priscilla actively promotes brands and engages with her audience through interactive content, making her a notable figure in the social media landscape. Next is Vicky James. Victoria James Atere is an award-winning fashion designer and a passionate ambassador for Christ. She shares her creative journey through engaging TikTok and YouTube content, focusing on fashion, worship, and personal growth. Her posts often highlight her faith, creativity, and the importance of community, with a strong emphasis on empowering women. Vicky's content resonates with a diverse audience, blending fashion with spiritual messages and personal anecdotes. Next is Celine Okam. Celine Okam is a vibrant content creator and actress known for her engaging presence on TikTok and Instagram. She shares a mixture of humorous skits, personal reflections, and cultural tributes, often highlighting her Nigerian heritage. Celine actively promotes body positivity and wellness through collaborations with health brands. Her content resonates with a youthful audience, and she frequently engages in social commentary, particularly on issues affecting Nigeria. Celine's dynamic personality and creativity makes her a notable figure in the influencer space. Next, Samuel Banks. Samuel Banks is a vibrant content creator and brand influencer, specializing in fashion and lifestyle. His engaging posts on TikTok and Instagram showcase a mix of humor, personal milestones, and promotional content, reflecting a strong connection with his audience. He actively collaborates with various brands and expresses gratitude towards his supporters, indicating a focus on community and engagement. Next, Diana Eneje. Diana Eneje is a prominent model and content creator known for her engaging lifestyle and fashion posts across Instagram and TikTok. She showcases her travels, beauty tips, and personal experiences, often collaborating with brands. Her content resonates with a youthful audience, emphasizing fashion, beauty, and lifestyle themes. Diana also shares vlogs on YouTube, further connecting with her followers through relatable and entertaining content. Next is Dr. Ashmani, aka Ashmusi. Dr. Ashmani is an award-winning influencer, creator, and actor known for her entrepreneurial ventures in real estate and fashion. She actively engages her audience with content that includes personal reflections, lifestyle insights, and promotional posts for her various projects, including her YouTube channel and the Court of Chaos show. Her social media presence emphasizes self-love, empowerment, and community engagement, particularly among women. She also participates in events like the Visionary African Women's Summit, advocating for women's leadership. Next, Jeremiah Obodo. Jeremiah Obodo, known as Swanky Jerry, is a prominent Nigerian celebrity fashion stylist and designer. He is recognized for his work in the fashion industry, blending African aesthetics with global trends. As a Netflix reality TV star and a Forbes 30 Under 30 honoree, he has gained significant acclaim, including multiple awards. Including multiple awards for his styling. His social media presence showcases his unique vision, creativity, and dedication to elevating African fashion on the global stage. Next, Jennifer Onyekwelu. Jennifer Onyekwelu, known as Jenny Frank, is a Nigerian content creator, actress, and entrepreneur with a strong presence on TikTok and Instagram. She is the CEO of Oxnell Lux Hairs and actively engages her audience with diverse content, including fashion, beauty, and lifestyle. With over 4 million followers on TikTok, she showcases her vibrant personality through entertaining videos and brand collaborations. Her recent work includes starring in the AI film Make Mation, highlighting her involvement in the entertainment industry. Next is Nengi Rebecca Hampson. Nengi Rebecca Hampson is a prominent Nigerian entrepreneur and social media personality known for her role as CEO of Shoes by Flora. She shares insights into her life as a mother and business leader, often highlighting her fashion sense and beauty products. Her content spans personal milestones, brand partnerships, and lifestyle promotions, engaging a wide audience with relatable and aspirational themes. Nengi actively promotes self-care and empowerment, making her a notable figure in the Nigerian social media landscape. And lastly, we have Prudence Gabriel Okopi. Prudence Gabriel Okopi is a passionate entrepreneur and owner of Prudential Atelier and Prudential Fashion Academy, focusing on bridal fashion and training. Her Instagram showcases stunning wedding designs, heartfelt messages about faith and community engagement. She actively promotes her fashion academy and celebrates the achievements of her students, while also sharing personal insights and experiences relating to love and spirituality. And that's it on today's episode of Fashionista. All right, we'll be playing shortly our entertainment package for the evening. Do enjoy.
Popular Nigerian singer Iyanya has opened up about his constant struggle with staying celibate, revealing that his endurance often breaks whenever he meets attractive women. In a candid conversation on the Afropolitan podcast, the Your Waist Crooner explained that he often ends up with regrets whenever he broke his celibacy, but struggles to stay consistent. The 39-year-old singer said he is not considering marriage now because he believes he is not yet mentally ready. Televangelist and founder of Mountain of Liberation and Miracles Ministry, Dr. Chris Okafor, has raised concerns over what he described as cyberbullying and called for stronger regulation of Nigeria's digital space. Speaking at the press briefing in Lagos, Okafor expressed frustration over the activities of bloggers and social media influencers, accusing some of them of spreading unverified information and damaging reputations. In November 2025, Nollywood actress Doris Ogala alleged that Okafor had been involved in a long-standing relationship with her and had failed to fulfill a promise to marry her. Ogala further accused the cleric of killing her brother and burying the head of an unidentified murdered person at the altar of the church in the Ojodu area of Lagos State. Reacting to the controversy, Okafor said that the most painful part of the situation was how bloggers and influencers allegedly attacked him based on accusations without giving him the opportunity to respond. The pastor stressed the need for the National Assembly to introduce laws that would regulate online activities and ensure that offenders are punished to serve as a warning to others. Two-time Grammy nominee Sarah Ayin-Kansola Aderibibi, otherwise known as Ira Star, has revealed her desire to collaborate with Burna Boy, naming the Afrobeat star as her top choice. She disclosed this while speaking with Love Island USA star Chelly Bisianthi about her 2026 Grammy nominations. Ira Star earned a Grammy nomination for Best African Music Performance for her collaboration with Wizkid, Gimme That, released on April 25, 2025. The nominations were announced in November 2025 ahead of the Grammy Awards ceremony scheduled for February 1st, 2026. Reacting to the recognition, the singer disclosed the nomination as a moment of reassurance in her career. Speaking on the inspiration behind Gimme That, which samples 911 by Wyclef Jean and Mary J. Blige, the singer said she only discovered the origin of the sample during the recording process. Alexa Perez, the ex-wife of Nigerian singer Harry Song, has announced her decision to temporarily give up custody of their two children, aged 4 and 3. In an emotional video shared on her Instagram story, Alexa described the move as the hardest decision of her life, citing years of pressure following her separation from the singer. She added that she had been solely responsible for the children since the separation with her husband, noting that they attend school from her home and only visit their father occasionally. Alexa accused her ex-husband of constant harassment and interference, alleging that he frequently showed up at her home unannounced. She also raised concerns about the children living with domestic staff, alleging that their father is rarely around. Alexa claimed that she lived in Asaba but moved to Lagos following threats by the singer to make life difficult for her there. Harrison publicly admitted to having marital struggles in January 2024 and requested that the public respect his family's privacy during the challenging time. Days later, Alexa shared a cryptic post on Instagram stating that she was officially done. The duo got married in March 2021 and have 2 children together. Nigerian Afrobeat star Davido made a high-profile appearance in the lead-up to the Grammys, attending the Billboard Power 100 party, where top music executives, including Lucian Grange, were honored. The singer later delivered an intimate set at Grammy House, performing fans' favorites such as Feels, Unavailable, and his Grammy-nominated track, With You, featuring Omah Lay. Davido is nominated for Best African Music Performance, competing against Burna Boy, Ira Star, Tyler, and Eddie Kenzo. Back in Nigeria, excitement continues to build ahead of the ceremony. Comedian Carter Efe filled the buzz with a viral skit, humorously betting everything on Davido's win, while fans across social media have rallied behind the singer, hailing him as the GOAT. The award ceremony is set to take place in February at the Crypto.com Arena, with Trevor Noah returning as host. And that's the entertainment news. Queen Mukunta's Signature TV News.
Moving on, we will be presenting a special documentary, one that takes a clear-eyed look at governance in action. Tonight, we examine the ENUGU state government's scorecard since inception, the policies, the projects and the people at the heart of it all, from bold infrastructure to everyday impacts on human lives. This administration has set out to redefine what progress looks like in the coal city-state. Join us now as we take a closer look at the infrastructural drive shaping ENUGU's present and laying the foundation for its future.
This is ENUGU, vibrant, active, and growing with purpose. A city once known for its failed infrastructure and insecurity is today telling a different story. Since May 29, 2023, the administration of Governor Peter Ndubisi has embarked on what many describe as an ambitious transformation drive in recent history. From roads to schools, healthcare, agriculture, security, tourism, housing, transportation, infrastructure development, and many more. ENUGU is rising. My name is Chinemere Mikebunam. Stay put as I take you through the administration's scorecard and how it has redefined the state and impacted on human lives.
At the heart of this transformation is a clear governance philosophy. Development that touches lives, restores confidence, and positions ENUGU State as a competitive destination for investment, innovation, and sustainable growth.
We're expected to continue to sustain that momentum. When we initially made the promise and the commitment to do things differently, to grow our economy exponentially, to eradicate poverty, to make ENUGU the #1 destination for business and investment, living and tourism. It was thought that this was some part of those political slogans. But our people have become accustomed to the fact that this is real and this is happening before them. And one of the major flaws of human beings is that we tend to forget the state of things, the way things were before we started on this journey.
Education forms the foundation of any progressive society. In a bold move to reposition learning, the ENUGU state government launched the construction of 260 smart green schools across all wards of the state. These schools are not just buildings, they are hubs of digital learning, innovation, and creativity. Fully equipped with modern facilities, the smart schools represent a deliberate investment in human capital development.
My former school, beds are there, people steal, and grasses overgrow. Here there is clean lockers, clean chairs, and beautiful tables for my teacher. Here is so beautiful and I'm learning something here so much. Here is so big and beautiful. Then the high school is so small and ugly.
Let me commend the Peter Mbas administration for what he's doing, improving the standard of education and general infrastructure. So I think it needs commendation.
When he said tomorrow is here, actually I will call him the man who saw tomorrow, that the youth should be able to compete globally. So him building and proposing to build 2 more, because we started that we're going to build 8 of modern technical and vocational education schools in ENUGU State. So what do we have now? He has added 2 more, so we're going to have 10. So when you visit GTC Enugu, you see what we're saying. So you look at that GTC, imagine 9 more in Enugu State, where youths are prepared not just to learn academic work, but also coming out with technical skills. So right now at GTC Enugu, we have state-of-the-art workshops in culinary art, in fashion and garment making, the hostels, you see them, the construction and building and construction department. We have renewable energy and solar installation departments. We have ICT, we have ICT hub, we have digital media and creative media department. We have all that, and also we have students that are hungry to learn. The plan originally was to have the school to be full boarding school, so you can get the whole child prepared, holistically coming out, being ready for the workforce or even to become self-reliant. So they will look at it and when we opened up on students second, and we said it's all boarding school. And some parents didn't find it, affordable. So right now, the school is heavily subsidized by the state.
Beyond schools, healthcare delivery has also taken center stage. Across the 260 wards of Enugu State, Type 2 primary healthcare centers are built to ensure accessible, quality medical care for both urban and rural dwellers.
Each of those hospitals have a place where the health worker will reside to stay with the community members and the family and health. We also note that each of those Type 2 primary health centers has got solar power, so that we're not relying solely on the national grid. The entire healthcare architecture is being remodeled. It's not only primary healthcare level, at the secondary healthcare level, the cottage hospitals and general hospitals are also being remodeled and being facilitated.
260 tier 2 health centers being built within a space of two years. The mission of His Excellency as applicant to this by today is for the good of Enugu State. We are investing for us to reap both in the short time and in the long time. And everybody should be happy with His Excellency Dr. for what he is doing in Enugu State.
There's whereby we have emergency and we go to some various hospitals. They say the doctor or the nurses will say that they don't have chance, that the doctor is not around. When something is on emergency, Type C primary hospital center at Tabapa here, and which is very good in Enugu State, so that we won't have a short of hospital in most times of emergency.
Complementing this effort is the 300-bed International Healthcare Center, a flagship project designed to reverse medical tourism and provide world-class Medicare within the state.
It will be an attraction for medical tourism. I see Enugu becoming a tourism hub medically. If that hospital, that 200-bed hospital is completed, it's going to be a great one. It will also improve the economy of the state and in extension, the country. Because by the time we have such a viable hospital, you'll see some companies like pharmaceutical companies and other industries that produce medical utilities coming in to establish. So I believe it's going to go beyond just medical services. It will also provide economic boost.
Transportation is critical to economic growth. With the introduction of 100 compressed natural gas buses, electric taxis, and modern bus terminals, Enugu is redefining urban transportation with a cleaner, more efficient, and environmentally sustainable transport model. According to the Commissioner for Transport, Obiozo, the goal is clear: to position Enugu as the leading transport service provider in the southeast and across Nigeria.
The administration, of course, have set out a bold vision to modernize transportation in Enugu State. And that, of course, is multimodal, from land to air to rail to waterways. And of course, you've seen the governor's strides in aviation.
To boost food security and rural prosperity, the government procured over 200 tractors, while additional units are being assembled locally. Through farm estates,
agro-processing initiatives, veterinary services, and public-private partnerships, modern agriculture is being pursued not just for subsistence, but as a profitable business for economic growth, sustainable wealth, and job creation.
Besides the tractors, His Excellency has also massively supported our farmers with free inputs, fertilizers, seeds. When we talk about seeds, the quality seeds, and that has led to the massive production in agricultural products. It is also worthy to mention that between 2023 and 2024, His Excellency embarked on massive cultivation of cassava for bioethanol refining. And in that project, 1,000 hectares was cultivated of cassava. And the free cassava stems of improved variety was given to our farmers. And that's why, if you compare the price of cassava between 2023, 2024, and 2025, you see that there is a huge drop. And the same was also done in rice production. This year alone, we intend to ensure that no grain of rice comes in from outside ENUGU. Rather, rice will be exported from ENUGU.
A cluster where our farmers are going to be allocated 1 hectare of land in their own vicinity. So they're not taking them away, it's in their own villages. They come into the farm estate is cleared, it's fenced, it's gated with a central warehouse, and tractors are sent to the farm estates. Agronomists from the Ministry of Agriculture go there to help the farmers to coordinate and farm as one big farm. When we talk about agriculture, the biggest problem we have is post-harvest losses. So farmers farm, try to look for how to sell. So in order to help farmers to come out of this quagmire, His Excellency has enabled the ENUGU marketing company to be a marketing partner that helps to aggregate and obtain products from farmers. So it becomes a full cycle closed loop system that helps our farmers to focus on productivity while the system helps them to market their products. So it's more like a support to the civil servant, to the workers. That the workers of ENUGU State can go to the marketing company and buy things on credit, foodstuff made in ENUGU on credit.
Housing development features prominently in the administration's agenda, with a target of about 15,000 mass housing units. Projects like the Akwoga Nike Mass Housing Estate with 133 2-in-1 housing units and the new ENUGU City Initiative are reshaping the state's urban landscape, offering dignity, comfort, and economic opportunity.
So we have identified the places, we've done an enumeration of those people who live there, people who have genuine titles and those who don't have genuine titles. So the idea is that we will now, it's not going to be difficult to say, park out, let us rebuild, then park in again. If they also had, that place is very what we call the urban poor. They want to live in an urban area, they live in an urban area, they don't have enough money to pay for kind of accommodation that's right there. The government has taken it upon itself to relocate them to a very, very well built area.
I can tell you those being relocated doesn't have a building all in suit. At worst, you might have an apartment of 1 toilet. And if you actually go there, you will see that a lot of mess. Like the last time I went there, we couldn't even drive into any of those buildings. We parked a distance away. We took a walk. And there's no comparison to mud houses to watch this modern structure you have here.
We are standing at the International Conference Center. Few meters away is the Hotel Presidential, once moribund, now revitalized. This is a reflection of Governor Peter Ndubuisi Simba's clear commitment to revitalizing state-owned infrastructures and converting them into productive assets to stimulate tourism, commerce, and of course, job creation. Let's take a look.
Tourism is being deliberately addressed as a major revenue earner, from the International Conference Center to the Hotel Presidential, iconic landmarks are being restored to global standards. Strategic security interventions, including the demolition of criminal hideouts, have reclaimed these areas, restoring safety, public confidence, and investor interest.
You look at hotels springing up, International Conference Center, look at the Presidential Hotel, look at the multipurpose hall built in Presidential Hotel. Now, back to the eco-tourism, which is actually where His Excellency has invested and is still investing so much money. We are developing the first phase, and this first phase we have 6 tourist sites, namely, of course, our flagship site, which is our home waterfall. We have the pyramid at ENUGU, the forgotten pyramid, but now we are bringing it back. We are revitalizing the pyramid, and then adding, we are not just facing the pyramid, we're also adding other things, okay, to the site. That's where we are going to have the first canopy walkway in Southeast, and then the longest in Nigeria.
Fantastic place, fantastic place. The place is beautiful. You know, the town, the layout, the roads, fantastic, clean city, clean city.
ENUGU is actually like a very, very fun city, right? And ENUGU is literally one of like the best place you want to be to celebrate your December. So I'm enjoying it as you can all see, and it's fun.
Just as tourism is gaining momentum, sports development is witnessing a new impetus. In preparation for hosting the 2026 National Sports Festival, the reconstruction of Nnamdi Azikiwe Stadium and the development of a new games village are underway.
Vision is wonderful. It's exceptional. And he also, because of that vision, we in the sporting dimension, that field, are now hopeful that the future is bright.
The successful marathon race held months ago further demonstrated the state's improved security and road network. Perhaps the most visible sign of ENUGU's transformation is its road infrastructure. Following the completion of 141 roads, the government has approved the construction, expansion, and rehabilitation of an additional 1,022 urban roads, marking the third phase of what is now the most ambitious road development program in the state's history.
This year alone, we are going to commit resources to construct over 2,000 kilometers of roads. Over 2,000 kilometers of roads in our 2026 budget is massive, and we are doing everything possible for the award of contracts for those roads to commence. We are building roads that will last for many years, that will outlive us. So this is that is one of the main focus in the ministry since I came on board. My focus has been on quality assurance, or quality of infrastructure delivery we have. Also building a new city. Many people don't, when we say we are building a new city, many people don't really understand. I think is when you are talking of a new city, you are talking about a new estate. The new city is beyond an estate. The entire old ENUGU is about 14,000 hectares. The new city is 10,000 hectares. So we are talking about building an entire new ENUGU city. It's going to be massive.
Coming down to ENUGU South, we have done a lot of projects in ENUGU South. But let me start with the road construction you did in ENUGU South. Since I was born, I've never seen a road built like this. Towards Mekebile and Juju Kobo. The road there is one thing I've never seen in my entire life. The whole soil they moved and filled up with the sand, and before started doing stone base and all those things. It's a quality road. I've never seen it. And that thing have discongest the traffic within the urban houses. Because if you have issue going to mayor, formally, sometimes you stay in traffic for 1 hour, 2 hours, just it's something that is not even up to 5-minute drive. You stay there for 1 hour, 2 hours. But that road have decongested traffic. You can walk towards that Emekebile down to Mount, or you can walk from that Emekebile down to Renew or down to One Day. All this road have been tied.
The road is doing from Amapa to Opiensuka is dualizing the road, and the one in Presidential Road is fine, everything is working well.
Security remains the backbone of development. The Enugu state government has strengthened its security architecture with AI-enabled DRS vehicles, surveillance cameras along major corridors, a central command and control center, VTOL surveillance drones, patrol vehicles, motorcycles, and over 800 protective gears. These investments have significantly improved safety across the state, creating an environment where businesses and communities can thrive.
We dedicate them for the use of ENUGU, the security agencies here in ENUGU, and for the benefit of our people also here in ENUGU, and to the glory of God. Let me start first on a note of gratitude to immensely express our gratitude to the Enugu State Security Trust Fund for what we are witnessing here today. It shows your commitment and your unwavering dedication to ensure that we continue to have a safe and secure Enugu state. Recall that we could not have been able to accomplish all the achievements we have today without having a safe and secure Enugu.
There are some places like New Artisan that when you go there, the place is like, you cannot even give an account of like, that place is something Hague has scattered, but due to the present governor is doing good thing there, that place is now okay, it's organized. And last thing I like about this, our governor, security is being secured here. In anything you are doing, and before you say A or anything happens, you see that some men are around checking what is going on, So I want to really appreciate him. He's doing a good job in this state.
Enugu stands as a symbol of intentional development, purposeful leadership, and renewed promise. Beyond the festivities lies a state rising, driven by vision, strengthened by infrastructure, and open to opportunities. Enugu is not just celebrating today, it is building tomorrow today. Indeed, tomorrow is here.
I want to assure you on our part that the trust and the mandate you've given to us, we hold it sacred. The social contract we have with you, we're going to live by it. We're going to serve you with our strength. We're going to serve you with everything we have. We're not going to let you down.
Enugu Rising, a story of leadership, resilience, and progress. Tomorrow is here.
Credit market is in chaos. People.
We are national.
Those in support of this motion as amended, say aye. Aye. We have taken it through by default.
We are international.
Israeli airstrikes.
Donald Trump left us the worst unemployment.
Signature TV, news in your pocket.
Welcome back. I believe you enjoyed that wonderful documentary about the beauty and wonder of our beloved ENUGU state. Now, moving into an interview this evening, we are turning our attention to one of the most critical yet often overlooked intersections in human development, the relationship between education and mental health among children. Now, for decades, the global educational paradigm has focused almost exclusively on cognitive output. You know, the standardized test scores, literacy tests, literacy rates, and academic achievements. However, we're beginning to understand that the classroom is not just a place of learning, it is also a psychological ecosystem. Today, children face an unprecedented cocktail of pressures, from the always-on nature of digital social comparison, to the lingering psychological shadows of global disruptions, to the sheer intensity of modern competitive curricula. We are seeing a rise in childhood anxiety and depression challenges that often go undiagnosed, or worse, are dismissed as mere behavioral issues. The data is clear. A child cannot learn effectively if they are not in a state of psychological, or if they are in a state of psychological distress. Conversely, a supportive educational environment can be the single most powerful intervention for a child's long-term mental well-being. Now we are asking, are schools equipped to be the first responders for mental health? How do we balance the drive for academic excellence with the need for emotional resilience? This evening we are discussing education and mental health among children. Joining us virtually to navigate this complex terrain is Kate Pedro. She's a proprietress and educator who has spent years on the work of child psychology and educational reform. Good evening, Kate. Thanks for joining us this evening.
You're welcome. Good evening. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. All right, so we're starting off. Now, it's a pleasure, of course, we established that. Let's start with the basics. In a race to ensure our children are smart, right? You know, to have smart kids, have we forgotten to ensure that they are also whole as humans?
Not really. You know, before now, in our own time, it has always been the psychomotor part of education. It has always been work. But oftentimes we've discovered that it's not really helping, because we just noticed that with that, we just raise academic children who have no self-esteem, who cannot speak for themselves. And I think with the way education is going now, it's no longer the way it used to be, because things have really changed.
Okay, now we're discussing mental health. What's the average, in the introduction we said children go through psychological and depression, that oftentimes we see them as behavioral issue disorders. What are those little things that we overlook that could be, factors or, a mental condition that is often overlooked as behavioral disorders?
Sorry, I didn't get that.
In the introduction, I said that there are some children that go through mental distress, depression, right? Yeah. That, on the outer look, for some of us who are adults or, parents, we think these things are behavioral disorders, without properly understanding that either they are mental issues or this child is going through, an emotional distress or another. So what are those things, what are those situations that when you see them, or when you see a child exhibit this, that you would say, okay, this is not clearly a behavioral, but a mental disorder?
One, I will say anxiety, excessive worry. Now, social avoidance or fear, that fear of failure, because of the pressure the society puts on children, especially our parents. You want your children to excel, you want them to stand out without minding. You know, most times we just concentrate more on the educational part of the child, how brilliant the child is, not minding the talent, the skills, and every other thing the child has. And because there's so much pressure from the society, there's so much pressure from the home, there's so much pressure from his mates or her mates, the child is so much anxious. The child is trying to make sure that he or she doesn't fail. And when the child doesn't meet up the standard that has been created, the child tends not to do well academically. And before you know, the child might slide into another one, which is called depression. And one thing you know, how do you know that your child is depressed? Persistent sadness. You just notice that, especially as a teacher in class, you just notice there's this particular child who has been doing well, and at some point, because of this same anxiety and this pressure, the child begins to have low energy, the child is persistently sad, just because the child is trying to meet up the standard of the society against the will of the child.
All right, so let's talk about the parents and the teachers. Just like you said, it is one thing for you to know the signs, you understand? It is one thing for the children to have the signs. It's another thing for the parents and the teachers to notice this sign and pick them out. How equipped, how well learned are the parents and the teachers to actually, pinpoint kids that are going through, shall I say, depression, distress, or emotional challenge, for them to sort them out? How are they knowledged?
Well, I think as parents, one thing you should understand is the kind of child that you have. No two children are the same. Now, one thing parents should watch out for is behavioral changes or behavioral change in your child. When you notice that your child is becoming too moody, keeping to his or herself, that's one sign as a parent from the home to note that something is wrong with that child. When the child is suffering from withdrawal syndrome, it's not the child who has always been active, who has always been everywhere, all of a sudden the child is keeping to him of his or herself. Something is definitely wrong with the child. Now, for the teachers, the easiest way to know a child we say the child is mentally ill, not doing well academically, just notice that, just those kind of children, how do we notice? It's the same thing. You just notice that a child who has always been doing well academically is beginning to have low grades, low performance, the child is withdrawing from every other person. With these signs, you know that something is actually wrong with such a child. That's the first way. That's the best way to notice that the child is suffering from mental health disorder.
Okay, let's also look at the school system, the education system. How much pressure do you think the education system is putting on the kids, the child in school, that would have actually put them in a state of distress or mental issues? Because there are some schools that they don't have break for these children, these schools, these kids.
Exactly.
From normal classes, even during the holidays, you're supposed to be resting. You see these kids still going out for one class or the other, and just piled up curriculums and activities that the kids don't even have a time for themselves to think or even have some recreation activities. How much pressure do you think the education system itself is placing on these kids, affecting their mental health?
Personally, I think there's so much pressure. When you look at the curriculum in most schools, you notice that the workload is massive. Now, I work in the primary section, in the primary sector, what I notice is that the curriculum is too burdensome for the children. The children get engaged from 8 a.m. to like 3 p.m. And then after 3 p.m., these children are supposed to be resting. Their parents are putting them into extramural classes. There's no time for rest. Now, and all this is boiled towards academic excellence on the part of the parents, which we do not see these things coming. Because you notice that with that, you're just raising children who are academically sound, but no emotional intelligence.
Okay, now adding to that, how then as a proprietor and an educator, understanding this pressure and also understanding the need to have children educated, I mean, two are as important as the other. how do we strike a balance? What's that point that when we get to, we say, okay, this is where it ends, this is where this stops, and this is where this one starts. That schools, because we could suggest these things, and then one school decides to make all of this available, and the other does not because they can afford it. So what's that neutral playing ground that everybody, every educational body can say, this is where we strike a balance between pressure on students and also giving them quality education?
Okay, I think the first thing, every school should have what we call an inclusive culture. Okay. Now, an exclusive culture is an attitude in a form where the children are also included in everything you do in school. It makes them a bit relaxed and they are not tense. That's one. Then two, support from the teachers. As a teacher who is handling children, you should understand the behavior to some extent of your children. Now, when you notice there is a difference in the character of the child, you should work towards that. Another way is the school environment should be conducive for these children. Let them have what we call teacher and student relationship. This way, the children will be a bit relaxed because some of these children come with so much pressure from the home. And then when you come to the same school, the teachers now and the school at large begins to burden them with so much work. I think we should have what we call inclusive culture where the children feel very safe in their school, and that's where we can thrive better.
Now let's look at comparison in schools. Constant comparison, talking about grades, best students, this one had first and all of that in class. How does this affect the mental health of students, of these kids in school? Because teachers do that a lot. I don't know if I should say it unintentionally. They want to correct a child. Look at this one. There's no time you come up with the first or second in class. Every time this, and they keep comparing. How does this affect the mental health of these kids, and how can this be managed?
I think before now, teachers have had problems with that. But now, in most schools, we no longer use position because that's where the problem comes from. Now, in a class, take for instance, in a class where the highest grade is, the highest mark is 65, of course, that child will come first. Now, in another class where the highest score is like 82. Now, for you as a parent, you begin to compare your kids. You compare one together, forgetting that one class is very competitive. So as teachers, I think that has been discovered and has been corrected. That's why in schools now we no longer use position, we use grades. So we have the AA, we have the A+, we have the A. That way, we lessen the burden of every child wanting to see who came first, who is not doing well. We're not concentrating more on grades and working on the three main domains of the children, not just psychomotor, like I said. The school is really working on that. It's just for parents to understand that it's no longer grades, it's no longer position, but it's grades that we use. So that way, we could sit with your child and understand where the child is not doing well. And we can talk to the child with so much love.
All right, when we talk about, child here, we're referring to both kids in primary school and teenagers. Now, as a teenage instructor, teenage counselor, I just wanted to come up there. When we speak of mental health, mental health and its, how it affects humans, we've already established the academic pressure. Now we have the peer pressure, we have bullying, and we have social media. Now, among these four, which would you say bears more on teenagers that it ends up affecting, their psychology, psychomotor, and how they reason generally as, students in schools?
As children, as teenagers, I think the so more difficult ones to deal with is bullying and peer pressure. By no more peer pressure, because in schools everybody's competitive, especially among teenagers. There's so much competition among them. And the other one is bullying. Bullying from those who are not really doing well in class and who are even older than you, or you're trying to outsmart them, like they always say. It has really affected their teenagers, and it's really still affecting them.
Now, for someone who has, let's say, overcome bullying, is there ever, for someone who has overcome bullying, or say you've had therapy, right? And then maybe from primary school you've had a difficult childhood, and then somehow you had teachers who love you, and then you get to a certain point in your life and something happens and you fall back, right? You've moved from peer pressure, you've come to social media, and social media is telling you a certain way to, oh, this is not how you ought to act, this is not how you need to speak to your elders, and all of that, being woke and all of that. As an educator and someone who, you know, understands that every stage of life is a process and one needs to be put aright, how do you go about handling such difficult child?
Now, two methods that are very important here. As an educator, I have to be emotionally intelligent. I have to be emotionally intelligent, and I have to be a social emotional educator. Now, what do I mean by social emotional educator? Now, it's possible you've been there before. You understand what that particular child is going through. Now, if you're going to help such a child, you need two key factors, which are emotion and empathy. Now, you can even complement it with compassion. If you are trying to help such a child, you make the child understand that that child is even the most important factor. Because most times, no self-esteem is the cause of all this. When you see yourself that you do not deserve what you get, or you're not supposed to be in their midst, most times this is the problem teenagers have. Now, if you overcome all this on social media, is the problem. Such a child, if I have opportunity to speak with such a child, I will need to tell the child, make the child understand how important he or she is to him or myself. You need to understand that you're important to yourself before you talk about anybody trying to make you feel you're not good. So social media, I think cyberbullying is part of the problem, because social media has a way of painting you bad or making you feel like you do not deserve to be where you are. But as a social emotional learner, social emotional educator, it is now your job to make the child feel special and important. That way, the child will overcome social media and everything that comes. You would have built confidence to that level that no matter what you do, it doesn't move you any longer, because you know you're important.
All right, that's a very great one you said there. But then, as an educator, do you advocate that mental health education should be taught, you know, just as we have the likes of maths and English? And if yes, how do you see it look like?
I would love it to be implemented comprehensively in our school-based curriculum. If I have my way, I will do it. I would love that mental health be implemented in our comprehensive school-based curriculum, such that we'll have what we call mental health service. Although some schools we have counselors, we have psychologists, but it's not in all schools. And how many parents can afford it? But if I have the power, I would want it to be implemented in our curriculum. And secondly, I also wish that educators should be trained in mental health literacy. The average teacher should understand what mental health is, how to identify a child who is not mentally fit. You can, as an educator, if you're trained, it makes it easy. Then another thing I would love is to integrate social emotional learning into our curriculum. Everybody should understand that all children, no two children are the same. Now, if you're going to handle them, you should be able to handle them with empathy and compassion. If our teachers are trained, if our educators are trained, it makes the work very easy for us.
Okay, now my next question is a bit, quite sensitive a bit. Now, for a child, let's say you have two kids. One is dealing with cyberbullying, peer pressure, and from that upper level of the society. And then you have a child who is dealing with family trauma, who is dealing with poverty, who is dealing with family dynamics, personal things that he or she does not even know is affecting his mental health to a great extent. And you have these two persons in class, and you are trying to, do you, treat both on an average level? Or like my colleague said, do you, offer preferences to these two particular individuals in the same class?
No. As as an educator, like I said, the two significant things about us is being emotional and being compassionate. If I have a child who is cyberbullied and I'm aware of it, the first thing I should do is to create a conducive environment for my children, for my pupils and my students. If the environment is conducive enough, there is nothing they cannot tell me about. There's nothing they cannot talk to me about. And that way, I will deal with them individually because their issues are not the same. Now that way, that's why we have what we call teacher and student relationship, where the child comes to you. It might even be outside the classroom environment, where you make yourself available for children. You get the best from them. They get the best from you and you give the best. So what I will do is to deal with them individually as students in my school or in my classes.
Okay, let's look at disciplinary systems in schools. You know, many children, many schools, many students experience that. Many. And I'm not talking about these Gen Z schools whereby they don't even flog or treat students anyhow again. There are some government schools, you know, very remote areas where the way students are disciplined, that could affect their mental health. You know, so the question now is, do you think some disciplinary measures are helping these students to grow emotionally, or is it furthering affecting their mental health? Because some of these floggings and discipline could bring shame to them, could give them some sort of self-esteem and affect their mental health.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to answer this question from the personal experience. So I grew up in the barracks where everything about us has to be clean and all this stuff. You know, when you soldier side, you understand what I'm trying to talk about?
Yes.
But one thing I discovered, yes, we were well cultured, but we lacked self-esteem. We couldn't express ourselves outside. Why? Because of the fear of being beaten by our parents. And then with this kind of mindset, and now becoming a teacher, the first thing I discovered is, when you say discipline, everybody's mind goes to caning, flogging. As an educator, there are so many ways you can discipline a child without using it. Everybody quotes the scripture. So scripture says, spare the rod and spoil the child. The rod might not be a physical rod.
Yes.
It might just be deprivation. It might just be deprive the child of certain things. If every other child is going for break, don't allow that child to. That's still discipline. You can talk to a child in a way that the child knows you're not happy with him or her. You're trying to correct some kind of attitude as a child. It doesn't have to be beating. Because I discovered that this beating is no longer working. What I discovered is this: before you say Jack Robinson, the child is stretching his hand for you. And after beating, the child goes back to the same attitude. We are forming a kind of attitude to our children that makes them feel for every mistake you make, you must be reprimanded. And that mindset is what these children are going up with. Who says that when a child goes wrong, you cannot talk to the child and the child is corrected? So I don't think flogging and all those caning and expulsion, you talk down on children, you reduce them to zero because they made a mistake that even the teacher can make. So I don't think that thing is not what we call discipline. The use of cane. Some schools use rod to beat these children like they're animals. So it goes beyond flogging. Discipline doesn't have to be with cane. I am not saying it should be totally abolished. Some children still need to be tracked, right? They still need to be flogged. But it shouldn't be a yardstick to measure differences. That's what I'm trying to say.
It could also mean that these teachers who are disciplining these children with, you know, all these harsh extremes, are also treating them from a particular place of a condition from where they are coming from. They have not, you know, gotten to unlearn some certain things, so they project what they are feeling, what they are hurt on these children. Now, last conversation before we, you know, wrap up this evening. Now, we've stated all of this, and we've not, you know, carelessly. These are things that you don't just carelessly say and then you go about them. What would you say are the roles of community leaders, spiritual leaders, support systems, you know, mental support services? How much importance are they in, you know, handling mental health cases in children? And how do we push for this awareness to be created more in even in our local communities? Because sometimes we say these things, it sounds like it's a big man's English, and then someone in the village, someone in the community may not really understand that a child could have a child could go through depression. Literally, a child could have things that are troubling that they can't share. So what are the efforts these community leaders, spiritual leaders, service providers should do to help, enhance the mental health awareness?
The first thing I think they should do is to create an avenue for trained personnel to come and talk to the community. You can just create an ambience. It could be done in the church, it could be done in the mosque, it could be done in our community. That's called trained personnel, psychologists, counselors, to talk to our children, to talk to the adults too, to make good parents and children understand that when you see certain signs in your child needs help. Because most of the things you're saying, the average mother who didn't go to school will always assume that when my child is withdrawn from everybody, the child is doing something bad. So until our parents are trained, that's why most times we say train the trainer courses. There are courses, there are lectures that we could try to organize in our churches, in our places of worship, where this trained personnel can come, train even our spiritual leaders, and train the members as well, to make them understand that when you see certain characters, when you see certain behaviors with your child, that child needs mental health.
All right, thank you so much. It's been such an amazing time to learn this with you. Thank you for being part of the program tonight.
Thank you, Kate, and thanks for joining us. Have yourself a wonderful evening.
You're welcome. And you too, thank you so much for the opportunity.
All right.
You're welcome.
Now we'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll get into what's trending for the evening. Now, today's a bit tricky. Parties, there are things that could just happen, and then you wonder what the community or what the society has become. Some persons party while some persons are suffering. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
We are local.
International communities observing why the main market is in chaos. People are...
We are national.
Those in support of this motion as amended, say aye. Aye.
We have taken the vote by default.
We are international.
Israeli airstrikes.
Donald Trump left us the worst unemployment.
Signaturetv, news in your pocket.
And now on what's trending. At a lively party, music blurs, laughter spills into the night, and plates overflow with food. But just a few steps away from the celebration, children gathered quietly, not to play, not to greet guests, but to scrape leftovers from abandoned plates. What should have been waste becomes their meal. Now, this is not a scene from a distant famine zone. This is happening in Nigeria, in plain sight where we have in the middle of abundance, in the shadows of celebration. This isn't just poverty. This is hunger wearing the mask of normal life. How can a nation rich in resources still fail to feed its most vulnerable? Now, if children are scavenging at our celebrations today, what kind of future are we preparing for them tomorrow? We'll take a watch, at a video, and also look at some of the comments from citizens of this very great country. Stay with us.
So, seven the server come. Seven the server for plate. They don't need a server for plate for lucky plate. So, seven the server come. Seven the server for plate. They don't suffer for plate.
All right, so of course, I don't really need to do much explanation to that video. To some people are asking the question, why would they allow the kids to be eating, leaking from there, while others are like, they were nice enough to at least allow them to see what to eat, looking at how hungry they were. But then, let's take a look at some of the comments from Nigerians.
Kenneth/Growth says, kids hovering over dirty plates to scrape leftovers isn't just poverty. It's hunger staring us in the face. We create abundance, we celebrate abundance in public, but children are scavenging in the same place. Nigeria is due for a reality check. Honestly, I do not doubt that. The next is from a comment from Chinoye.
Right, Chinoye says, this is shameful, not on the part of the hungry kids, but on the wicked and irresponsible leaders of the self-acclaimed giants.
Self-acclaimed giants of Africa. Honestly, this evening I wouldn't want to comment much on this because that video was rather disturbing for me. Let's take another comment. This is from Mr. Balogun. Says, I trust our government. When them go see this one, them go say na AI.
Okay.
That was funny.
The next one coming from Philip. Philip says, may God help us, Africa.
Amen.
Amen to that.
Amen. Amen to that. All right. Ben Samuel, this is enough to call for the resignation of government in other sane countries in the world. As long as politicians' children are doing fine, Nigeria economy is working. Truthfully, Nigeria is not the only country that suffers. I mean, if you see what happened in Gaza last year into this year during the Gaza-Israeli war, the war between Israel and Hamas, you see that people are suffering. But the slight difference is ours is on a daily.
And also, not just a slight difference, the big difference is that this one is happening from an angle of war, right?
Yes.
Now, this is not like a war season or a famine season, and we are seeing this. So it's really concerning.
Next is from MC Hawker.
MC Hawker says, the real picture of African societies where politicians driving expensive toys of $170,000 to $300,000.
Right. This Glassman says, with the picture of a short from the video we just watched, there should be a national vigil to place huge and lay curse on our politicians for bringing this kind of situation to Nigeria, especially the APC government. I wonder what that has to do with the government, but it's still a particular political party. But I would have preferred if he said the government and not call a political party. This is the handiwork of our youth, shameless politicians, because many countries have left this kind of situation, referring to starvation. This is quite heartbreaking.
All right, Olamileko says, some people are still going to oppose this and hail the government. Live na turn by turn. It go turn. You go to your turn. Oh, come on, not do this.
Honestly, it turn reach your.
Come on.
Sometimes I have to read the comments hard because I don't know if these persons are typing to rush off or they don't read.
I think
what they type.
You will soon reach your turn too. You know that kind of thing. Yeah.
But then these things happen at events. You go for an event. And at the end, you see, I don't think it's most places.
But permit me to add this to it, in as much as this is really disturbing, then what happened to a case whereby these kids, yes, they may be hungry, but they may not be as poor as the picture is given.
Yes.
I've come across kids that are coming from school that are begging people for money. And these kids, their parents didn't send them that. They are just greedy, and I don't know where they learned the habit from, to them, they have some change on them to do stuff for themselves, Some kids may just maybe they may just call them to come wash the dishes. Maybe they are short-staffed or they don't have much hands. And long throats now, kids and the way they go about things, we just go about eating from it. And then our kids, maybe they shall just wash the plate.
But
and then a capture came in.
I don't know how to express my feeling that, I've been at events where I serve food. My mother serves food. And anything that is left, the persons that come to those leftover where we wash the plate, they say, oh, pack this for my dogs. Nobody eats it. Nobody keeps plates for washing. And if I were to be that place, any child I see picking up a spoon, I will ask you to drop it. What do you want to do? I actually blame the person who stood there making a video and watched them. I was watching them eat off people's plate, eat off people's germs from spoons.
A typical example of what happened like a few days ago. One of the kids, right, stopped a friend of mine to beg for money. And the guy was already putting her in his pocket to give her. I said, no, don't do that. You're encouraging this habit. Because the more they give to them, the more they feel it's a normal thing. And they keep going about asking. So same thing is also happening to these kids. Let's check the next comment.
I mean, we're running out of time. We had lots of other comments. Okay, let's take this last one. This is from Liberty for Real. Liberty for Real says, back in the day in the West, these kids will be served food. They will not even go near the leftovers. They will simply wait around or ask to wash the plate in return for food. While in secondary school those days, we will confidently take our seats and join the party to eat. And that's how it is. If you want to give children, wait, you want to eat, don't worry, there is food, but you wash plates. If as much as, let's say you're using them, use them to achieve, but don't give them leftovers, please. It's just, it's not good for anybody. Something that somebody has eaten, put mouth, put spoon, put saliva, and
you don't even have an idea if they drop some or something and the kids will just jump on them. And then that is that. So we'll be going into our People's Forum in just a bit. Stay with us.
Welcome to People's Forum. Today we're discussing, is it right to accept gifts from someone you know you won't marry? A woman became romantically involved with a man known for internet fraud, and during their friendship, he set her up with a fully equipped salon business. To him, it may have been an expression of love through provision. To her, it may simply have been support at the time. But things took a dramatic turn when she decided to marry someone else, explaining she couldn't build a future with a scammer. In response, the man reportedly showed up and took back everything he had bought for her salon. So where does love end and obligation begin? Are gifts in a relationship ever truly free, or do they come with silent expectations? If someone accepts help from a partner they already know they wouldn't marry, is that honesty or exploitation? And when the money behind the generosity is questionable, does that change who is right or wrong? Let's talk. The number to call is 081-4898-6005. In context, let's take a look at the video.
You don't tell me. Come.
But But the guy ain't get right to do this way because he won't go marry another person. He say no be by force. Go to say no be by force to
if I be your sister, you go agree make a marry person they do yahoo yahoo. When no go school.
But when they spend the money, no say na yeah you they do.
He spend them now. I not give on the other side. My customers they come. Even the guy self when they marry me self, they call me. Now the guy they vex say the guy don't go lock the shop. Why you go video me go post some online? Wait, make I ask. If I be your sister, you go want make a marry yahoo person. The boy not even go school. When I want make a go marry him, because the boy open shop for me. I know they marry him now by force. I don't go marry him. Now my first one want marry me now the vex. He said the guy don't go close the shop.
All right, the lady said, if I be your sister, you go want make a marry yahoo person. If not my sister, I go knock him.
And if you were my sister,
how did you
end up there? So now you have the right to say no, but you don't have the right not to take the gift.
I mean, how would you end up dating a yahoo in her words in the first place? All right, we don't want to, when we get to people's family, our emotions start to play. Call us, join the conversation. Tell us, as a man, if a lady that you have established decides that she's not going to marry you again and says because you're a fraudster, would you go and destroy? But do you know this social media can bring your mind to things? This thing happened sometime last year. Okay, that one was different. That one was
a lady money and
no. The video was a guy that proposed to a lady, and then she said because he refused to kneel down. But that one, he went and went to her shop, said everything I bought for you, I'm taking it, even the car. Like they went back and forth on the car. But this is gifts. We've had cases where a man has set up a lady. Or maybe trained her in school. I mean, that one is more prevalent. You train a lady in school, and then after 5 years, 6 years, she tell you, oh, you're not my type. You're not educated. You did not go to school. I cannot marry you, and all of that. If you know look, I know times have changed. That if you're doing something for someone, you should not expect or wholly expect something in return. But this is someone you are in a relationship with, and this is someone you have, invested, quote unquote, invested in. And although it was not stated whether they had discussed marriage or not, he might have assumed that for me to have done this thing for this lady, I will get married to her. And then he goes ahead to set her up. You know what it means or how much it would take to set up a salon? However little. You get a shop, you get all this equipment, and then you now find out that the lady is getting married to another brother.
Another brother indeed.
To another brother, and the nerve of her to come out and ask him
claiming rights. I think the question is not about if you find out that if the lady says that you're a fraudster. This is not just a matter of being a fraudster or a scammer or a yahoo now. Even if we don't encourage that act.
Yes.
The angle we are coming from is you're in a relationship with someone. You've been involved with the person. You thought you loved the person. You thought the person loved you, and you invested in the person with the thought of I do at sight, right? Only for the person to wake up one day and say, I am not doing. Reasons best known to her. Is it right to go back to pick the items that you spent on her during your time of being with the person? Because some people are just naturally wicked. Allow you to spend all the years with you, give you hope, only for them to say no. All of a sudden, she knows that the guy was not educated. The reasons are annoying. And it happens, we watch this in movies, but these are realities. You say a man that's not gone to school, maybe struggling and getting better, but you allow the man to spend on you, open shops for you, equip, furnish it and do everything.
And then you suddenly realize he's not your spec.
It's not your class.
But I'm tempted to ask, with the way she was acting, is she educated? She go to school?
She may be, but education doesn't for face. Education always on the lips as well. Someone can
you might be educated, but you're not
express it the way you want to see it.
Exactly. You don't know what you want.
Yeah.
Going to school is one thing. Having sense is another thing. Because tell me why you would, you're beating your chest that you duped a man or you tricked a man into loving you I wouldn't say she tricked. I wouldn't want to assume.
Maybe at some point there was love.
There was love.
Then you got to find out that, see, no, I can't do this with this person.
And you did not discuss your
fears. At that point, you did not even stop it.
You did not stop it. And I'm sure they did not break up very well.
It's even looking like they didn't even
They did not break up very well.
And she was still enjoying what she was enjoying.
And then she will now start doing withdrawal syndrome. I'm in one day, I'm out 2 weeks. And the man will be like, baby, what is going on? And then my guy will come out and find out that his woman is engaged to another man. Or he find, I always tell people this, the things we watch in movies sometimes, 70%, 80% of them are people's realities. Because you see a movie, a lady is someone, and they'll come and tell you, not be your bobo, they marry for streets. Like, no, I was with him yesterday, I saw him last week. It has happened to me.
Somebody proposed to marry. I suppose, like, okay.
No, not the proposal. You're seeing someone, you think you both are, heading somewhere.
Yeah.
And then he ghosts you for like 3 weeks or a month. I think now was like about the month. And then you come and you're like, oh, sorry, I've been busy. Can you, and I had this, because I'm a giver. I had this whole plan. And then I come, my sister is telling me, sorry, where are you?
Okay.
I said I went to my friends. It's not this one that got married last week. So you can imagine that heartbreak. I would have advised this my guy, take it in good faith. Just,
But in as much as this may actually come out very funny, I think ladies can do better. Some ladies can do better. I don't know if you heard of the story that went viral, how a lady collected money, transport money, to go see someone. I think they were chatting online with the guy. She was chatting with the guy, and they were doing some sort of online romance and all of that. And she agreed to visit the man. The man sent her, I think, 10,000 or thereabout, and she spent the money without even visiting the man. The man called, she blocked, she did everything, and the man said she was going to suffer this with her life. Then at some point it went viral that she went to church, she got very sick, she couldn't get cured. She was now calling for the man to forgive her and stuff. The man did not respond, the man did not forgive, and she eventually died. It went viral.
Now she has died for nothing.
For how much? So if you are not interested in someone, all right, it's gone are the days that we will say people you enjoyed from this person. This was what I imagine what she was saying, that the guy brought the money, she brought in something. So you have a commodity. So your body is now for exchange. It doesn't make sense. So as a lady, you're no longer interested in someone.
Okay, Christopher, please stop saying as a lady. Guys too can be very malicious.
It's a two, yeah.
Please be balanced. You can say as a lady. Guys, because a guy's one might not be a gift. Guys one might be emotional. You're emotionally stringing a lady, and you know how ladies can be when they like a guy. The lady's ready to flip. If the guy says jump, she's asking how high. And then you know that, bro, I'm not doing it, I'm just messing with this lady. Why not state why you are there? Let us know what we are doing.
And time is going for the
lady. Time is going.
The lady will even tell you that, this man came for me, but I love you, I'm turning.
Yes. And then you tell him, don't worry, just give me time, 1 year, 2 years.
And you know that this is not the lady I want to do, I do with.
When are you getting married? 2 years, 3 you're dating. Don't worry, if your friend, the lady's friend is asking, how about, baby girl, you've been dating this guy for 3, 4 years. Don't worry, he said he's taking his time. And then one morning he wakes up and it's been wonderful. It's not you,
it's
not you, it's me. I mean, I don't think
that's another very sweet line. No, it's not you. It's me.
You are wonderful.
Perfect. Come on.
If I was perfect, why didn't you? If you knew that it was you, and I'm sure for you to have gotten to that point after 4 years, you left. Because 4 years is too long
for you to
not know what you want.
Kai.
At least if you're telling me, oh, I want to marry you, this is my promise, this is my word. Take it to the bank.
And I also feel it's not just a lady thing, also a guy thing, the both parties, the both way. If you get into a relationship, start to define things. Draw your long time and short time. This has nothing to do with being desperate. Say it as it is. If you finally agree that I love this person, I want to marry you. Oh, thank you. I love that you have intention of getting married, right? How long are we looking at?
How long am I giving you?
3 years?
Yes.
How long are we looking at?
What
so you know what you're working to meet up.
towards?
This is what you want assistance. As a lady, you work from your end to support your man. Your man work, you put your heads together, you do this thing on time.
And in all things, pray. Because we might also make all these plans, and then after that 4 years, like we said, something will happen.
Yeah.
And then the person will wake up and say that the scale.
Village people.
Thank you so much for staying with us up to this moment. It's always a wonderful time. We would have taken calls today, but because of our time, we won't. Hopefully by next week, we would have people calling us to share their thoughts and views on our topics. It's been a wonderful pleasure. It's been a wonderful time. Till we come your way again next week from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. I am Princess Ken Ochoma.
And this is from me wishing you an exciting weekend. Christopher Lele, good night.
We come from a place of values, a place where hard work and discipline is taught early. We were taught that excellence is intentional so that we stand firm, build and do our work well, rooted in the knowledge of our origins and the strength of our people. Our stories are shaped by resilience, our paths are built on consistency. From the hands that create with precision, skills live here, creativity thrives here, excellence is practiced here, where every detail matters. We tell our stories with clarity and share our truths with confidence. We build influence with intention. Our voices reflect who we are and carry our identity. We build a strong foundation in the dignity of honest work, pride in showing up every day, strength in consistency, respect for the process, and strong value in our efforts. This is who we are. Rooted in service to humanity, guided by compassion, driven by responsibility beyond self, committed to life, and purposeful in every action we take. It is not just a conversation, it is representation, it is preparation, it is intention made visible. And it is history taking shape from the dream team. We can do it.
February 14th, 2026.
International Conference Center, ICC. This is bigger than one person. This is about all of us. You are invited.
Signaturetv, news in your pocket. Signaturetv, news in your pocket. Signaturetv, news in your pocket.
Health is more than a diagnosis. It's your lifestyle, your choices, and your future. Join us on Inside Health, your weekly deep dive into the stories, science, and solutions shaping your well-being. From expert interviews to real-life journeys of healing and hope, we cover it all.
One of the complications of cancer management or treatment is they have some of them, at one point in time, you see them having anemia. Okay, so you see them at times being transfused. But at the same time, you come in with a diet.
Nutrition, mental health, innovations in medicine, fitness, and everyday wellness. Whether you're managing a condition, staying informed, or just living your best life, Inside Health is your trusted guide.
I'm Tigiti Agorum, and I'll be with you every week on Inside Health. only on Signature TV.
Signature TV, news in your pocket. Every second, every minute, every day, news is breaking. Events occur and there are new developments. At Signature TV, we follow these stories objectively, bringing all sides without bias, explaining the complex issues, breaking down the numbers, and investigating the issues behind the news. Anywhere and everywhere, near or far, wherever the news is, we will be there. Signature TV. News in your pocket. Signature TV. News in your pocket.
New every morning on Signature TV, we open the day for you with needed energy, information, and required vibes to shape your day. From sizzling snippets of stories in various areas of life to intriguing conversations with net worth guests.
When you have people who have no track record becoming your leaders, you have a problem.
There is no outstanding gratuity when Obi took over from me. I left in all the accounts of Anambra State 13.8 billion for him.
Your day cannot be complete without Signature Morning on weekdays and Signature New Day on weekends. There is no better way to start your day except Signature Morning and Signature